I'm going to be that grandma who has a book full of pictures or memories. And I'm not going to be the grandma who's like, oh, I wish I did, because I'm going to be the one who did it. Those memories, to me, that's wealth. I think I've realized how little you need to be happy, how simplicity creates happiness. You know, I just remember seeing certain things. So I'm like, just happiness was so little.
Exactly.
And then you come home to, you know, this Western world and you see how much we have and how unhappy a lot of people still are chasing this next thing. And let me tell you, that was culture shock. Most of the students didn't know Belgium was a country.
Wow.
And I was also related to...
What did I think it was?
They thought it was part of Germany.
Kelly,
Hi.
welcome to the chat room.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you here. We've been trying to make this happen for the past 2 months.
Yes.
At long last, here we are.
Here we are.
So we're going to talk about your travel experience. What a story. You've not only visited, but lived in over 5 countries. New Zealand, Australia, the US, Belgium, where you've spent most of your childhood, right?
Correct.
First off, how does it feel to be raised as a third culture kid in Belgium with an American dad and a German mom?
To be raised as a third culture kid can be confusing because it's many times you feel like you don't really belong. So I am always labeled by other people what they think I am, mostly American because of my accent. But I'm with Germans and don't feel like I'm fully German. I'm with Americans, don't feel like I'm fully American. So I tend to feel comfortable with people who are all like me. Maybe a mix of multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, to be a third culture kid, if you could choose anywhere to be it, Belgium's a good place. It's a very, very, because of NATO.
It's multicultural.
Exactly.
3 different cultures, like languages, right?
Exactly.
In the same country, so that's fine.
Exactly. Yes.
Where were you? Were you in the German-speaking area?
No, I was in the Flemish part.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yes.
great. What is special about Belgium?
You know, the food.
Certainly.
I have to bring up the French fries.
Yeah.
The
right.
chocolate,
Yeah.
the good beer.
What have you? Definitely the culinary delights of the place, right? I think when you turned 18, round about there, you moved to the US with your mom. It was a different culture, different place. How did it come about? And how did you experience the change?
Sure. Actually, when I was 15, my parents had split. So while my mom and dad stayed in Belgium, I went to go for a year and visit West Virginia, which is very country and very different and very beautiful. And went and stayed with my aunt and did a year over there. And let me tell you, that was culture shock. Most of the students didn't know Belgium was a country.
Wow.
And I was also related
What
to...
did I think it was?
They thought it was part of Germany, a lot of them. So I was able to make up anything and they would believe it. Like, oh, in Belgium, we don't have toilets. Oh, in Belgium, we eat upside down. And they would believe anything.
That's somehow understandable. The United States, such a big place.
Right.
So it's easy to feel like the world revolves around your country.
100%. Yes.
Anyway, that's great. But then you left the US.
Yes.
You came back to Europe. You missed Europe.
I missed Europe. Before I moved back to Europe, I actually moved with my mom to the US.
Mm-hmm.
So after that stay with my aunt in West Virginia, I moved with my mom to Virginia, close to DC. Went to high school in the US, and that was, again, culture shock. But yes, I ran at the chance when I became an adult to come back to Europe. My heart was pulled here once again.
Straight up to which country? Belgium again?
No, to Austria. Yeah.
Nice. Vienna.
Vienna, the beautiful Vienna.
That's where you au paired for
Yes.
some time, right?
Yes. I didn't last long, unfortunately. I was not a good au pair, and I'll be the first to admit. But I'm grateful for the experience.
What motivated this choice, the location?
I wanted to improve my German. Being German, we had 3 languages at home, and German, as it's very similar to Flemish, the teachers had told my dad, like, stop speaking German to her. She needs to learn Flemish. And she's speaking English at home, and we also had to learn some French. So German kind of took the back seat, but my oma and opa, grandparents, didn't speak English. So we are originally from Austria. Our history is very complicated. A lot of Germans don't want to talk about their history, but I knew that we originally are from Austria on one side of my family. So Vienna just happened to fall on my lap.
So in which language do you feel more fluent?
English.
English.
Yes.
Right. That's great. Well, you've also been to the UK, England. Where were you specifically?
I was in London.
Okay. How long have you stayed there?
I was there for a year.
For a year.
Yes.
Okay. Different place as well.
Different. So fast paced. Yeah. Very unique.
Then Australia. And New Zealand.
Yes, New Zealand.
Right. So can you share with us some highlights of these different places?
Sure. I will say that each part kind of brought out a different version of me. The person I was in London was the fast-paced 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Then go to the pub with the mates, that culture, but also stressful. Lots
The
of rain.
lifestyle there is all about that. It's all about that life.
It is. And at one point, I was done with it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. So then I went to California, worked on a farm to raise money, to work, just make money, not raise money. Work on a farm.
I was like, is it charity or?
I had to work on a fruit farm, make money, bring that money over to Australia. I had to pay the ticket. I was young, right? I needed money.
Yeah.
And Australia was interesting. I didn't really like where I was living. I was in Brisbane. I don't think it was my vibe. It reminded me of a part. It just wasn't me. I think maybe other parts like Melbourne would have been more my vibe. But the nature there was beautiful. The only nature I didn't really care for were the big ass spiders in my house.
So scary.
I could have done without them.
Wow. Then Germany.
Yes. I was in Berlin and Munich.
Right. And how long did you stay there?
Not too long. I was in Berlin for 6 months also, trying to keep on improving my German. And then Munich was just also a few months.
Have you always had very long stays like this, or also short trips?
So most of 8 years from when I was 22, I had moved every 6 months to a year. So yeah, Germany was my shortest. The other ones were like a year. Vienna, London.
Yeah.
New Zealand was a year as well.
You've been to a whole lot of places. How many overall?
I have stopped counting after 60.
Oh.
Yes. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the preference question, but then sometimes it just has to come up, So what was your favorite out of these different places where you've lived, especially?
That is still tough. I think for me, it would have to be New Zealand for just the version that I was there, the newness of it all. This outdoorsy, I did ice climbing. I worked, in this small town in a beautiful place, it just simple life, but full of backpackers and all these different cultures. And every weekend or any free time I had, we would sleep on a glacier or go on an epic hike. So it was adventurous. It was something different. And the New Zealanders, the Kiwis, are just incredible people. So I think New Zealand will always be that place in my heart that is special. But Belgium's always going to be there too. I got to say that. Got to throw that one out there.
Have you ever been disappointed by a place you've been to?
This is going to make me sound like a brat, but it's getting harder and harder when you see so many places to genuinely just appreciate it, because you're like, once you see mountains that are so big in New Zealand, and then you see maybe, you have to find the other beauty in places.
Yeah. And you come with high expectations.
Yes, you do. So yeah, I'm kind of dealing with that now because been grateful and have had the opportunity to see so much that things are losing its appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to find it a little more, but that's a journey of its own. It's just changed.
Okay. What do you like the most about a different place?
What do I like most about a different place?
Yeah, like the culture when you visit a country for the first time.
It's
The
always
culture, the food, the people.
it's the people.
Mm.
It's the people that stay with you, having exchange, even if you can't speak the
Mhm.
language, the exchange and the funny dance when you're trying to explain it with your hands.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's definitely the people. It's the novelty of I think traveling makes you do things you wouldn't naturally do. For some reason,
Totally.
when you step out of your comfort zone, you step out of it in different ways you don't do at home. Can you imagine if you became that person, that adventurous at home, how great your life would be? Yeah.
Definitely. So, what is the very lesson you've learned from traveling around the world?
I think I've realized how little you need to be happy, how simplicity creates happiness,
Right.
I just remember also in Morocco seeing certain things. I'm like, just happiness was so little.
Exactly.
And then you come home to, this Western world and you see how much we have and how unhappy a lot of people still are chasing this next thing. So it's definitely that. I think that's the biggest perspective gift I've ever gotten from travel.
Definitely. Sometimes you just need this minimalist approach to life to really experience happiness as such.
Right. And see how rich your life actually is.
Exactly. Exactly. I remember talking to someone earlier today, asking them what is wealth for them.
Mm.
And the person told me their definition of wealth is actually happiness. When you achieve happiness, you've unlocked probably the greatest dimension of wealth as such, because you realize that it's not about the material things. It's just about how you feel when you look around yourself,
100%.
And most of the time, it's just about gratefulness, appreciating the little things you have in your life.
I agree with that. And I think travel continues to teach you something that so many people forget to open their eyes to bringing home.
Mm-hmm.
What about they're all so much more present? They're just not connected. They're so present on these vacations. And you try these new things. If you could just bring that home, beautiful would that be? That feeling you have that you enjoy so much during traveling.
Yeah.
But I know for one thing, I've always said this, and I've always been kind of the girl who says, hell yeah, do it. So most of my friends, most people are like, you're crazy for moving. Oh, they shoot you down, especially a lot of women if they want to go travel alone. I mean, not now as much, but when I was doing it, yes. Like, you're crazy. Duh. But I will say I've always been the person who said, I'm going to be that grandma
Yeah.
who has a book full of pictures or memories. And I'm not going to be the grandma who's like, oh, I wish I did, because I'm going to be the one who did it. And that's beautiful. Those memories, to me, that's wealth.
You're suddenly passionate about traveling, right?
Yes.
Where did it stem from? I know being from different cultures and getting to move to, each of your parents' place or country, it certainly starts happening, coming to form. But then what was the very drive for that?
I think it's just the experiences I've had, the people I've met, and the memories I've created, but also very early on. Yeah, I've been so exposed to these different countries and I've met people. And for me, it was associating the place with the people I knew.
Yeah.
It was interest. I've always been interested in people and their stories, much like you. And a lot of that is culture and where people are from. Yeah. It's intriguing and it's experiences. And I've always been an adventurous soul. So for me, that reason, I think even early on, I was flying, unaccompanied minor to the US. And after I became a flight attendant, and like the traveling and the passion for love, or the love for travel never stopped. And then it became my job and it's still there. It's just changed.
Yeah. I was going to make this connection between that and being a flight attendant. That's probably what motivated you to pursue this career, right? As a flight attendant.
Yeah. Well, it was more of a sit down. I feel like I had my friends in Virginia had me.
Mm-hmm.
This is very American mentality, I would say, to, here it's okay to do a sabbatical in a lot of places. In the US, it's like, okay, go to college. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
So it was real cute for me to do it for maybe three years of traveling. And then my friends sat me down and said, hey, you need to grow up. So, and it was that. I was loving being this person who was free and traveling, but then I also craved security for myself, which has always been important. So being a flight attendant gave me that freedom to still I'm all over the place, but I get paid for it.
Right.
So adulting.
Okay. Then the hazards of life threw you
Exactly
towards Spain.
Yes.
Camino de Santiago. It rings a bell.
Yes. Beautiful Camino.
Yeah. So you took that. I think it's a 30 days, 33 to 35 days trip, isn't it?
It depends. People do it. It's your walk. It's your pilgrimage. It's your walk. You walk for whatever reasons. The stories on there are just phenomenal. Why people do walks for days, right? Why do you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
But it goes back in history, and there's so many different routes. So yes, the one I did was 30 days. Well, for me, I did it in 30 days with a few extra days to walk to different places.
That would be around about 70 some kilometers, right? 700.
It was about 900 kilometers.
900.
Plus.
Oof.
Yes.
That's a lot.
It didn't feel too bad. There's something powerful. It's the Camino and the spirituality not the spirit of it that you feel.
Yeah.
You're walking. That's, when we were talking about how is travel now, you change. I've gone from the couch surfer to backpacker to the flight attendant who stays in hotels to now I'm constantly seeking different experiences that still excite me. That was new. To be able to say I walked through a country. I started in France in the Pyrenees to walk to the end of Spain.
Yeah.
That was new. That was cool. That was seeing a whole country. We walked through towns, cities. So it's a special place, but it's changing a lot because of the media that it's getting.
Yeah. Right. And then you find yourself here in Spain. Well, a lot of things happen meanwhile. Among others, you found love on the Camino de Santiago. Yeah. Then here we are in Spain, and you are doing some interesting stuff. You're hosting these blindfolded dating events. What is it called? It's
called Date in the Dark, Madrid edition.
Hi.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. How does it go?
I am so excited about this. Actually, we're just kicking off our first event.
Okay.
But the concept is most of us all have, a checklist in terms of what a person looks like and what we like. And usually when you are on a date, you're usually going through that checklist in your head and you're judging. We all have prejudgments. This takes that away. So you're going to be blindfolded for the dates. You're going to have 2 rounds of folded dates, and basically just be present with the person and see if you connect. And then later there'll be a reveal. So my hope is for people to connect authentically with the person behind the looks. And interestingly, also, it's a great chance for people to see if looks play too big of a part for them. So I heard a lot of people and a lot of friends struggling in this dating world with the apps, that they're lost the authenticity with this next culture of the swiping.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this brings it back somehow.
Yeah, I wish you many matches.
Thank you.
In your first edition in February. Is it going to be the first edition?
Yes, January we'll have our first event.
January.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, next weekend.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
How do people reach out to you?
Yes, they just apply. So because it is a blindfolded event, we do pre-screening and pre-vetting for our applicants to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So even if you apply, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be attending the event because they'll have an interview and we'll make sure you're there genuinely for the right reasons. Because I don't, the time's precious. People are there for one thing. casual dating, it's not the place for it. People are generally over the dating scene and want to find their person. And hopefully with this pre-vetting system, we can find people who truly are there for the right reason.
You're already in touch with many people, right?
Yes, I was shocked at the age group. You know, I've had 20s, 30s, but also 50-year-olds.
Oh, that's great. Expats.
Expats. Right now, expats because it's an English event.
Yeah.
And it's interesting the psychology of why these people are intrigued by this, you know, I would say experience. It's just a very oversaturated dating world. And culturally, it sounds like in Spain, it's very tough for them out there.
Could be.
I don't know. It's funny to hear the feedback that I've gotten from the women dating the men. It just seems like it's a culture. And I don't think it's just in Spain that they don't want to settle down.
Yeah, that's a thing as well.
But I don't think it's just in Spain. I think it's our whole culture of next. You can just keep swiping.
Certainly.
Something else is out there.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about clarity as well. Do you really have it clear what you're looking for?
That's my questions when I
Yeah.
ask these people. I ask some very serious. I'm a life coach. I know to ask. I know how to ask deep questions, and I go deep. And if you're uncomfortable going deep, then how are you going to be blindfolded when you just have conversation?
Exactly.
So these people go deep. You can tell they want. And also, I challenge people in these situations, share something vulnerable, because half the time in these interviews, I'm hearing them say, it's always the same questions. What do you do for a living? What do you do this? I'm like, well, change that. Ask a deeper question.
Do you share questions with them? Like, I don't know, some default questions.
That's a good question to ask. I kind of want them to do their own thing.
Okay.
But I offer this, if they need help, they can just raise their hand because they'll be blindfolded.
Yeah.
And I'll come in and just say, hey, icebreaker, put a question in there.
Okay.
Okay, take it away, and then I'm out. So yeah, if people need help, because it is uncomfortable dating for some people, and you can get stuck, and why not offer, I'm there if you need me, but I think you got it.
Right. Well, I wish you the best of luck on this
Thank you.
project.
Yeah.
That will be it. Hopefully we get to talk again about other travel related issues.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Probably after your first episode, we could get to, see how it went and debrief on. It's not a show. I shouldn't say episode. Your first edition.
Yeah.
Do you have an audience?
I don't, and I don't want one.
Okay.
I've had people message me like crazy asking if they could come. So, and they're all like, oh, this is like Love is Blind. I'm like, it's not a show. It's not that. I mean, I wish I had pods, physical pods. Can you imagine how great that would be?
Yeah.
Like a physical barrier to hide people?
Sure.
I don't. It's not that.
Is the idea to keep it private, or are you going to record it and publish it somewhere on social media or something?
No, I don't think at this time I want to record it. I think I genuinely want these people. I think when a camera's on, sometimes you can't be you for some people, and I genuinely want these people to connect.
Okay.
So I don't know about cameras. No, it's not a show. It's a private moment between two people that I hope turn into a connection.